Hi, welcome everyone. My name's Kathie, and I thought it would be a great time to touch base. It's been a while since I've posted a video, and we're approaching the end of the year, and I'm excited to share how things have gone and what we have in store for next year. So we've been running our trauma-sensitive yoga sessions over the sort of the later half of the year. Of course, they went on hold because of COVID. We did have some online sessions for a while, and we still do run our sessions online, but we found that a lot of people preferred face-to-face, so it was really nice to get those up and going again. One thing we do in our sessions, which I wanted to share with you guys, is we start the sessions with a little bit of psychoeducation. So what that means is that I take some time at the start of the session to sort of talk about a theme associated with trauma-sensitive yoga. Because one of the most common questions I get is, how does trauma-sensitive yoga differ from normal sorts of yoga? And this gives us an opportunity to sort of broach that and talk about a theme that we will include in the session and then go from there. So tonight is our last session for the year, and again we are planning to run again next year. But I thought I would just share with you what our theme for tonight is, so you can get a kind of an idea and learn a little bit more about trauma-sensitive yoga. So tonight our theme is interception, and that's just quite a large mouthful to mean what you feel in your body. So that's the alternative is exteroception, so that's what you notice outside of your body. So for the rest of the talk, I'm going to try not to use the word interoception. Instead, I'm going to say felt body sense. So I'm referring to what you feel in your body. And it's one of the most important aspects of trauma-sensitive yoga. I've got a quote that I thought I'd share with you again about what this felt body sense is, what interoception is. And this is from Fowler in 2002 in the journal Brain. She says that it's the material me and relates to how we perceive feelings from our body that determine our mood, sense of well-being, and emotions. So it's quite a large gamut, really. It's not just how you feel, but it's like what you feel, like the actual sensations, and then how that relates to well-being and emotion. So it's quite a large concept, and that's why it's so important in trauma-sensitive yoga. So what we feel in our body typically gets us to act. So it's kind of argued that that's, I guess from an evolutionary standpoint, why we have body sensations. So we feel something and then we act in a particular way. So for example, you might feel thirsty. That's an interoceptive experience, a felt body sense of being thirsty. And then so you go and you get something to drink. Or like on an emotional level, you might find something that just doesn't make you happy. It makes you upset, fearful. And these emotions drive you, these feelings in your body, these emotions drive you to act in a particular way. If it's a positive emotion that drives you, or a positive body feeling that drives you towards sort of repeating that action, or towards what we would call a stimulus in psychology. If it's a negative feeling, that drives us to move away from the situation. So I have posted about this on an earlier YouTube video about the research showing that we do actually feel emotions in our body. So I can't remember what year it was done, but it was a large cohort of participants, hundreds of participants, and they were asked to talk about or pinpoint where they feel different emotions, and they sort of pinpointed them in specific areas in their body. I'll try and find the link to that and add that below. So long story short, we feel emotions in our body, like we have that felt sense, that body sense of being, of feeling. Um, so in trauma sensitive yoga, we practice feeling body sensations. And we use yoga shapes or forms as a way to sort of facilitate or explore sensations. So for example, we might say, you might take a turn, a twist, and you might notice your back. So just bringing your attention into your body and to practice feeling those sensations. And with regards to trauma sensitive yoga as a therapy, as you're moving through the different shapes and postures in your time, you might feel particular things, felt body sense from the shapes, or sort of like felt emotional reactions. And one thing that makes trauma sensitive yoga different from other forms of therapy is that we don't need to link the feeling to anything else. So we don't have to link it to a past experience, don't even have to link it to like a emotion. It might automatically happen, but that's not the core of trauma sensitive yoga. That's definitely an aspect of other forms of therapy where you will sort of unpack what you're feeling and how that relates to past experiences. But in trauma sensitive yoga, the idea is just to explore what's going on in the present moment and to sort of remove a lot of that thinking component. It's just about being with those sensations. What else can I tell you about that? So you probably get the feeling that is very similar to some mindfulness practices, so sort of being mindful of the present moment, and it is, except again, some mindfulness practices are more cognitive. So that means that you start to sit still, for one, and notice thoughts or feelings, emotions, and sort of watching those mindfully. But with trauma sensitive yoga, you get the opportunity to move. So you can sort of explore those sensations and move around, and that's really what makes it quite different from other sort of mindfulness-based practices. And those practices are things like mindfulness-based stress reduction and mindfulness meditation. So that moving component in trauma-sensitive yoga and the ability to change what you're feeling based on how you're moving it does make it quite different. What else is there? Got my notes behind the camera, that's why I'm looking up here. Why do this? Why practice noticing body sensations? Because with trauma, for some, there can be quite a huge impact on feeling body sensations. So I've had clients say that they feel quite numb, that they just feel like a head, that they don't actually notice a whole lot of what's going on in their body. So it's really normal. So this gives them the opportunity to start to explore sensations. For some, people become quite hypersensitive to sensations, especially with regards to anxiety. And giving you the ability to practice noticing what's happening in the moment can improve accuracy. It's thought that it can improve accuracy over time. So you can be aware, sort of notice your breathing, but if someone is sort of quite anxious, that could be a bit overwhelming. But over time, you get that opportunity just to sort of explore that, I guess, and improve your accuracy. So what I'm trying to say is that someone who's experiencing a lot of anxiety might feel a normal breathing pattern is something really intense. But then with practice, you might notice that that's just how you breathe. And so there's that aspect with regards to trauma. But if you think about just sort of day-to-day experiences with people that might not necessarily relate to have gone through a trauma. So not classified as PTSD or complex trauma or anything like that. For some of us, there's a high tendency just to avoid conflict or to not question authority. And I'm not saying that we should just go out willy-nilly and kind of do whatever we want, but some people really sort of avoid listening to how they feel about situations in order to avoid that conflict, or I guess that just really to avoid the conflict. So through practicing sort of feeling body sensations and moving and adjusting them and becoming more attuned with them, with the trauma sensitive yoga practice, it gives people the ability to be more embodied and more in touch with how they feel about situations. And with time, that can improve PTSD and complex trauma associated symptoms. That's definitely been proven. And then for those that don't sort of relate to being classified in that way, it might just give you more of an insight into your felt self, like what's important to you. So instead of just looking outside and saying, well, I don't want to upset my boss, it's like, well, actually, how I feel about this situation is important. So there's definitely value for those that haven't experienced trauma per se. So that's what I wanted to talk about. So that's going to be our theme tonight. So what I'm probably going to speak in a similar way tonight, and then we'll go on to practice for about 50 minutes or so, and I'll be cueing things like you might notice this, you might notice that, just giving the participants a chance to really drop in and to notice what they're noticing. So that's it. That's some of the psychoeducation that we have in our sessions, and after our practices, we always take a moment just to like a minute or so to raise any questions or comments that come up through the practice as well. So it's a lot of opportunity to explore what's going on in our sessions. So next year we're thinking of running them as a course. So straight after COVID, I was just like, we just need to start again. So I just booked the hall and we started. But next year it's probably going to be blocks of 10 classes, and then a bit of a break, and then another block of 10. And then we can really sort of structure it with this psychoeducation alongside. So that's it, really. I hope you have a wonderful holiday period, and thank you so much for supporting me and joining in on some of the sessions. It's just, it's been amazing, and I've really enjoyed the opportunity to explore these body-based therapies with you, and hearing experiences from clients and how beneficial they're finding it it's really heartwarming, and I feel really sort of humbled to be in this space at this time. So thanks again, and I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day and holiday period, and I will see you hopefully in the new year. Okay, bye for now.